live. I think we are live. So, Maria, we were just talking prior to this starting, which was you saying, I am adjusting to being home. It's really hard to not be at the office every day. So I think it's actually a pretty good place to lead in to where we are. So what are you doing to adjust? Because this podcast or this webcast is really just about what the market leaders such as yourself and some of the other players, what are they doing to adjust right now? And let's start with your home life. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm used to being out and about for 12, 14 hours a day. So I haven't left the house since Saturday, which is
When was the
pretty.
last time you did that? You haven't left the house
When I
in
had
5 days? When have you ever done
when I
that?
had mono about 7 years ago. I didn't know I had mono, but I had mono apparently, and I was sick, and I think I was in the house for 12 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how
So I
about,
got
yeah, go ahead. Tell
yeah.
us tell us what's going on.
Okay, so on Monday, I never showered until 7 o'clock.
Perfect.
And then Tuesday, the same thing happened. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I have to get into a brand new routine. So I'm actually writing a brand new schedule. As you can see, I'm dressed like I would be going to work. I don't have my jacket on because
It's all mental.
But I decided, okay, I have to get up right away, get in the shower, get dressed, put makeup on, just like I'm leaving the house. It's mental. I cleaned out, my husband and I cleaned out the room I'm in right now. You can kind of see behind me is closed, but this is a bedroom that I turned into an office bedroom years ago. So this whole side of where I am here, it's half the room, is all shelves and books and a desk. And behind me is like the extra clothes that, quite frankly, they all should go because I haven't worn them in forever. And of course, there's some gowns back there. But this was a mess for like 4 years. And on Sunday, we finally cleaned everything up. Still have to reorganize some stuff. But I don't think it's not there 100%, but our house is definitely getting much more organized than it's been in a long time. And when you're running around every day from place to place to place, the last thing you want to do at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, or if you're done eating dinner, is start organizing the house, right? So we're getting a lot of that done. I'm excited about that and my husband's cooking me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's fantastic. And
that's a good deal.
Yeah, well, every day we say, okay, what are we eating today?
Yeah, I look at everybody I've talked to so far on this, Mike McCann, we talked to Therese yesterday from KW up in Limerick. It's kind of the same thing. You guys are high energy, high producing type people. You're used to running at 100 miles an hour. You're extroverts. All of you are very similar, like characteristics in like how you get things done. And the one thing, everybody did exactly what you just said. First, it's like, all right, I'm stuck in a house. Let's start getting the house in order, right? And let me give myself a routine. Let me give myself a schedule. What are you doing now, though, from a business perspective? I know the retail world has been absolutely come to a screeching halt, but there's still things that can be done. So have you kind of put a game plan together with you and your team as to what we can do given the situation of, being quarantined essentially? Like how are you adapting to that?
100%. I will tell you that last week, I still worked from the office along with 2 other people. Everybody else, so basically skeleton crew, everybody else was working from home as of that Monday. I guess it's 11 days ago, whatever it is. So last week was hard because all the people that weren't there are the ones that do all of the, administrative stuff. Even stupid things like you wouldn't even think about, but you find the holes in your business, right? So that was the challenge, and I was kind of freaking out. And then come this week where I could go to my office if I wanted because it would be me only, but I didn't see any sense in sitting in an office with no people. And I think it would be,
I think that's even worse than going to the office.
It would make me depressed. Plus, honestly, why do I need to put the lights on and heat for myself and my husband? Like, what are we going to do? So that's why we set up the office here. But so we had to get everybody set up. Not everybody was able to work virtually at first. They didn't have, proper, I guess, Verizon or Comcast or whatever set up. So that had to happen, which everything is up and running now. It's learning how to work from away from people. I'm used to at least when I was in the office, which was always every single morning. I was there for a couple hours before I went out. I would just come and go all day long. So I always had, somebody there to assist the client. So what we've done now is every morning we're on Zoom at 8 a.m. We have okay, what's my intentions for today? And what are we going to do today? And what we only are focusing on one day at a time. I have not let anybody go. I don't plan to. At this point, we're taking it one day at a time. And I'd like to see what the government's going to provide for small businesses, the stimulus plan.
So I just saw, speaking of that, have you seen any of it?
No, because I haven't watched the news in 2 days.
I haven't either.
Smart.
I'm waiting for people to tell me.
So I have it. So I also, two things. One, I have no idea. Like I was just thinking about this before this call. I just texted my partners. One, I have no idea like what's real information and what's not. Two, I have no idea like where to go for that information. Like, how do you, great, everybody's going to get a bunch of money, but like, how do I know this isn't just some garbage scam link I'm clicking? But if the information I just saw was correct, which maybe it may not be, and I've heard a couple people that have heard it, and I know one guy that did get it. This is kind of nuts, and you're going to understand this from a payroll perspective. Businesses are getting SBA loans right now to cover costs. If they maintain payroll during this period, the loan is forgiven up to $10 million, which to me is insane. So you're getting free. It's free money. It's free money if you maintain your payroll. I've never seen something like that. And if that doesn't stimulate businesses into surviving through something like this, I don't know what will. Now, I know one guy that was able to get it, that literally already got it done. And yeah, so I mean, something like that is going to be
what I'm doing when I get off the virus.
That's what I'm saying. How is every business not doing? Like, that is what everybody's going to do. I text my partners. I said, how do we not? Let's do this, but right now the information is like, this is what's supposed to be happening, but how do we get it? Where do we get access to it? It's hard to, so hopefully in the next like 5 days, that stuff becomes this is where you go for this is where you do that. I think that's a logistical nightmare that the government has put themselves in right now that we are unaware whether they can execute on. But I can say my partner just told me that he knows a guy that just got that loan for his business. So it's there somehow. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting because
I'm definitely going to be looking for that for sure.
Yeah. It's everybody. I mean, payroll and rent are the two biggest overheads for any business. So if you're not, even when you are running lean, it's still expensive. Even if you've planned for the rainy day, you're like, damn, like,
right.
you could.
To run the office, rent, the copier, PGW, Comcast, whatever. I literally over the last 10 days. I went through every expense and cut things that should have been cut already. And then the things that maybe I would have liked to have kept, I cut.
What, like what?
Financially,
what's something you wanted to keep, but you cut anyway?
Oh gosh, there's
just want to know like the specifics of
I've had a big media campaign running. And we kept one thing and I cut the other two. We're dark for April. It's kind of a little bit in the middle of a shit show because we started January 20th and it takes months to recoup, your spend on that. Which, is disappointing, but it is what it is. And I believe that this is a reset that the world required.
I think so. I agree with you. I think it was coming, whether it was nobody thought it was a virus, nobody knew, but this is well due.
Bill Gates predicted this in 2015. You can Google it. There's a YouTube video about it.
I did see he was talking about the pandemic and this is how much of a threat it really is and so forth. And I don't think it was just because of the world getting reset. I think it was a cyclical reset as well. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't mean it from that perspective. I just believe it's a reset. I believe that people, I think it's a time for leadership to become more empathetic, more understanding, to hone our skills. Um, we're still fully operating as a company. We are still going on listing appointments virtually. We are very fortunate that we have been doing 3D tours for quite some time.
Mm.
So we have a lot of 3D tours out there.
You were doing that before this all happened, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
we bought a 3D camera. My husband bought it, I think it was in like August at the Remax broker owner conference. So we've been utilizing those. We weren't utilizing them for every property, but I don't know, it was last week. I guess it was last week. He went out to while we were still be able to operate. He went out and got the rest of them that we could get. So we did see an increase from, so let's just say from a scale from 1 to 100, we were at 10%, and now they're at like 75%. That's insane.
Mm.
So we
Yeah,
know
instantly,
that,
right? Yeah.
yeah, there's buyers that still want to buy. Not everybody's going to lose their job. Look, people that are at like Merck and Glaxo and these big companies are all still working. They already worked virtually. They're still working. The essential workers are all still working. In fact, they're working overtime. So there are people that still want to buy and sell. We have spoken to a lot of people this week. We answer the phone when the phone rings in my office. Um, which, a lot of people, they have things directed to the voicemail, to their cell phones, but we use office phones, and we have a Ring Central system, so we can divert and we have about 20 numbers, so we
Mm.
can divert them to different places, but we
I
answer
love
every
Ring Central,
call.
by the way. Love
Isn't
Ring
it awesome?
Central. Oh yeah.
And it records it texts them. You could text from there. We have follow-up boss, so we are so
It's
lucky that
everything.
we have everything already online.
Mm.
But listen, when we're talking to our clients, we're not talking about real estate at all. Versus, how are you personally doing?
Sure. What's going
How,
on? Yeah.
how's your family?
Right. Because
Are
there's
you okay? Is there anything that we can do for you?
yeah, it's true. It's funny. You're the second person now on this. Everybody says, Therese said that yesterday. Mike McCann even said that the day before. It's just like, what can we do for other people beyond the client relationship? It's like, there's people. I think Mike McCann had the best way of putting it. I think since I've heard it, he's like, look, it could be worse. He's like, you could be dropping atomic bombs on, a country, or you could have a complete blackout with no connection. We have heat, we have running water. There's no war going on. This is a temporary scenario. But there are people that are in situations, and we were just talking about this with Trace yesterday, is that, our 60, 70 and under populace is not really at the high risk level. So you think of like the elderly people that are like, this is a real scare for somebody that is 65, 70 and older. There's like a into the double digit percentage chance of potentially not coming back from this virus. And that kind of like, so then you go, man, like forget all the business, forget everything we're doing. How do we help those people? I was just talking with my wife about, this check that's coming in, and I'm like, that's, she was like, that's a donation check. She's like, somebody else needs that a whole lot more than we do, and that's the reality of the things that I think it's important to think of when given this situation, because not everybody is able to do what you've done or do what I've done and do this from home and have all these amenities still in place. So I think it's really important to think like that as well.
Yeah. The other day I was thinking about, how can we help people? And so I came up with my team, we came up with the slogan, be the solution. So everything that we're doing is being the solution. For our clients, the clients still want to buy and sell. It's like, okay, how do we do this? So we could do coming soon for the next 21 days for them.
Sure.
We're walking through the house with them on FaceTime and Zoom or whatever they have, depending on their phone. Anything that is going to, whatever is going to or they need, because some people really need to sell their house.
Yeah.
And we can put offers in contingent on walking through later. There's a lot of things that we're doing that, we're not shut down. And so what I was saying about the Ring Central was, we get a lot of people that said nobody's answering their phone. We've called real estate companies, nobody's answering. And we want to be the solution for them and let them know that we're here. We're here to help you through this. You know, we're scared too, 100%. You know, it's every day, like I'm fine. And then I woke up the other day having complete meltdown the other morning.
We all had that moment, and that's funny you say that because nobody seems to want to put that out there. I had that. I was talking to Larry Steinhaus the other night on one of these things, and he was like, he had his moment. I think like last Wednesday. Mine was on Friday, and everybody has that
Friday.
moment. Friday,
yeah. Friday morning, it hit me. I was freaked out and like in hysterics and really scared, and I'm still scared. Like I'm scared. I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to get anybody sick.
Yeah, and you have, you were into 2000. You remember 2008 as well, and
9/11.
In 9/11. So you remember like
business, but I was in advertising, and don't believe me, a lot. 80% of people canceled.
I bet. Oh my gosh, I bet. And you think about though,
came
like
back 6 weeks later.
It's all similar though in like the feelings, right? You're like, even though this is happening, like I remember 2008 and 9/11, but like where I was in business in 2008 was more relative to this conversation. But there's that underlying like stress, fear that everybody has, even when you know that it's going to be okay, it's still an unknown. And so it's like it was the same feelings in 2008, and so everybody shares in that concern. And I think I'm sure you can relate to that, right? Like you remember these feelings in 2008 and 9/11, like you said, you lost 80% of your business, and then 6 weeks later, everybody was back. But you felt it's a similar feeling, right? Like it's a similar.
And 9/11 was, I think it's like a squash. It's like two of them mushed together. 9/11 affected.
I can't believe you just said that. Mike McCann said the exact same thing. He said he took one mini correction crash and another one and go boop and put them together and said, this is what that's exactly what he said the other day too. Same feeling.
Because there was the uncertainty of 9/11 that we were threatened as our whole entire country. It's kind of the same thing in a different way. I think this is, well, I don't know. It's yet to be seen if it's worse than that. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. I
think it's got that feel of we're all in this together rather than a survival, I got to do what I can here. We're all in the same boat here. Let's make it work.
Yeah. So I keep calling. I call people. I'm reaching out. I've been working literally from like 7 a.m. to 10 o'clock on the phone pretty much, or on a Zoom, on a phone call, mainly a lot of Zoom, but phone calls as well. I've been listening to live like these live streams and talking with other leaders in the industry nationally, just to find out what everybody's doing. And we literally are all in this together.
And everybody's similar. I assume the feedback you've been getting and things you've been looking at, similar tune, right? Similar theme.
Yeah, I was on a call earlier, and with a group of brokers, and some really have dug their head in the sand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In what way? Like what do you mean?
What's really important now is not sitting back and waiting for something to happen. It's taking action. It's doubling down. And if you already were only working at 25%, then it's 8 times, or 50%, then it's 4 times. But if you're operating at a high level, it's doubling down. So it's talking to more people. It's reaching out to more people. It's calling all your sphere of influence, your clients, your friends, your family. I'm calling my parents on the daily. Like, it's nuts.
It's the funny thing is with like the way the market's been the past 10 years, like now it's time to work. It's time to go to work. Like that's the reality of the situation. It was easy when you didn't even have to pick up the phone and you could still make money, and so times like this, I mean, we've certainly immediately ramped up. We do quite a bit of marketing and so forth now, but I mean, double and triple down on where we are right now, because it's time to pick up the shovel and get to like, we're all on vacation for a few years, honestly, in terms of, what it took to make it in this business. And for, brokers that put their head in the sand, I don't necessarily want to say, like judge them, because maybe they need to have their own moment of realization. Because I think, the reality of it for mine or yours or whatever, maybe it was like last week, and we said, all right, this is where we are. What am I going to do? And depending on your personality, and when you come to that realization, you go, I'm going to create structure in my day. I'm going to push my business harder. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm either going to move forward, or I'm going to sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
And the latter's not the option.
I don't know, I'm just talking more of like people who were leaders. I was just surprised.
It's easy to lead. It's easy to lead without a problem. It's real easy to lead without a problem in front of you.
This is the time when you have to pour into your people. And we're in a human experience business. We just happen to sell real estate. It's all about that experience, whether it's your internal staff and agents, or it's the people that you serve. We're all in this together, and we got to step up, and we got to reach out to everybody. So I think that's really important. We have our Zoom. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't mean to jump topics on you. I had so you're saying this, we're all in this together. And I've been thinking about the responsibility we have to remain quarantined and so forth to each other. And for the first two things have happened. One, when I've taken a walk outside or something, I'm exceptionally cautious about it, even when there's other people out there. And I noticed I was like, I'm looking at people looking at them like they have Ebola virus or something. I'm sure they're looking at me like that too. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. And part of my head is like, this is what we're supposed to do. And the other part of me is like, wow, that is a weird feeling to have with somebody else that just casually able to walk by the other day. But in essence, it's probably safer for both of us to be thinking like that. And then the second thing I've noticed is that, like, in the beginning, when people were doing like, they're meeting at dinners or they're going to parties during this quarantine, it's like, you roll your eyes, you're like, come on. Like, now I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, every single person that is not doing what they're supposed to do to stop this virus is prolonging this for everyone else. So like, if I were to go outside right now and see like a bunch of people having a party because they were bored, I'm like, now it's a little bit angering, because they're contributing to the problem now, and not the solution. I don't know if anybody's been starting to feel like that either, but like, not good to have social gatherings right now, because I don't want to be in this any longer than anybody else. Right. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that at all on your ends or thought that way.
I haven't left the house, and I'm not leaving the house. I hope it gets a little nicer. I would go for a little walk somewhere. I'm not going to walk on the river because it's packed down there. And Philadelphia is a walking city. So I said to my husband, I used to walk from river to river. He's like, I've never seen you walk river to river. I go, well, it's before you before you were around. I used to walk river to river. I used to live at 10th and Spruce in a condo there, which I loved. And I'd walk down to the Delaware River and then back up to the Schuylkill River and then back. It was a nice walk.
It's a beautiful, on the right day, that's a beautiful walk.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, you can walk. I used to walk on Spruce Street. That's because that's where I lived.
Sure.
But I was thinking, we could walk on Spruce because there won't be people walking river to river. So you can walk, whatever street, but I happen to live.
I mean, yes. I mean, Philadelphia on a sunny day is hard to beat.
I mean, Ian, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate with what you said here, because you kind of you sound like an old man, be like, the youth is causing the problem here, right? Going out and partying.
Yeah, sure.
But I got you. I get your message there. What you're saying is there's a social responsibility. I think a lot of it though is not really people's intent right now they're not going out there thinking like, I don't care if I spread the virus, I spread the virus. I think it's because nobody really knows how this whole thing works. So you might be going out for that walk thinking like, I have to go outside just to get some fresh air, but I'm going to be careful, right? I'll be careful. I'll be cautious. Or I might go to this social event, won't shake hands. So in your mind, you're not being irresponsible or anything like that. You're not prolonging it. So it's kind of like nobody knows exactly what is needed to make this go away. I mean, I do get your point of, hey, if everybody went quarantine, this would be over in 3 weeks, done, period, right? But I think it's just a matter of nobody knows exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So with that said, I think what's happened is like, I've become more in tune with the perspective of like, lock yourself away. Where in the beginning I was like, whatever, maybe they're going there. I think everybody's at a different level is what you're saying. And I agree with that. I'm hoping more people quickly reach the level of like, just stay as isolated as possible. Like things like social gatherings and parties, like please,
I can't
hopefully we're at
believe
the
that
point to
anybody
stop
would
that.
have a social gathering or a party now. That is
Right.
socially irresponsible. 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
And I've and
100%.
you read some of this stuff online. Like I'm like reading like I mean I don't know if you guys saw like the parties in Miami and stuff, and like spring breakers, I guess, were like going. I'm like, but I'm hoping that the fear and the lockdown. Now we're also in a hotbed where we are. So I was just talking to our partners in Maryland yesterday. They're not on lockdown the way we are. They don't have it the way we are. Ryan, you're up near New York.
It's insane.
So yeah, so
Where are
like we
you?
are experiencing it.
Ryan.
I'm right outside New York City, so I mean we are on complete lockdown here. It's just nuts. It's nuts. The shelves are all empty. It is what you're seeing on social media. It's hard to get supplies. Even Amazon doesn't deliver supplies anymore unless they deem it critical, and even then, it's hard to get it right now. So there's definitely a real survival scare feeling right now. So
Wow,
I think. Yeah, and it's kind of, I think where Ian is going to get with that is this is going to trickle to Philadelphia, and that'll trickle to DC if we don't quarantine ourselves here.
Yeah, because Maryland wasn't experiencing that as of yesterday. They were like asking me on the Zoom call, like, "Hey, what are you guys experiencing?" Because we're more locked down than they are, and New York's even more locked down than we are.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm like, it's going to go one of two ways from this point. You're either going to experience this lockdown in about a week, or it's gonna, if everybody's doing their job, it'll go back up and work its way past New York and shrink back down to nothing. So it's kind of all in our own hands right now to decide socially each individual to do their job, or everybody's going to be pushed further into lockdown. It's kind of a weird position to be in, I think.
Yeah, I haven't had time to leave the house. I've not stopped being on the phone with clients, and we're creating more content right now. Just providing people information where they can go for more information, whether they're, one of our investors or builders. I mean, it's really messed up. It's really messed up. I mean, the builders really should be able to build their houses.
Yeah, 27th, right? They locked that down until tomorrow.
Think real estate is an essential business. Building is an essential business, but I think you could do it responsibly. We are still closing files. Everything's happening remotely.
Mm-hmm.
There's, that's still happening. So that's positive. And with the team, I was saying, we meet at 8. And then I have a quick touchdown with a couple people at usually around 12. And then at the end of the day at 5:30, we have another wrap-up call. But everybody on the team has been working, gets to see to like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Just because our workload, even though we're not listing as many properties, we still have a lot of work to do on the ones that we have. And we are still going on virtual appointments. So we have those as well. It's just, there's like a little bit of a pause with some people, which we're asking them, do you want to pause? Or, okay, no, I don't want to pause. I really need to get this property sold. I'm moving to Florida. These people need to move on with, their lives. And so we want to support them in order to do that.
What have you noticed? So I've noticed that the files that we kind of had out there are still closing. The ones that were there pre this issue. The new one, I've still been getting some new ones. Has the retail world, like, have you guys been just focusing on making sure you get the stuff closed that you had that was supposed to close, or are you also getting new business in a different way? Is it actually coming in?
We have a few offers that we're negotiating. Most of those are investments. We sent out today actually a large parcel of land that's for development opportunity. We have another triplex. We expect a vacant triplex. We expect an offer to come in on a piece of vacant, smaller, like a lot. Another property that's out in the Mount Airy section that we're negotiating an offer on. So we do have a handful of offers we're negotiating, much less than we usually do, our volume, but we're still, fully operating, and I'm making lists of all the things that, wanted to get done and wanted the staff to get done for a while. So when we have to see week to week really what goes on. And it would be nice to know if, and I know we don't know, but when we think the ban might be lifted so we can figure out
I mean, I think the only
how
thing
to,
you can do is prepare for when that ban is lifted, right? And it sounds like that's what you're doing
yeah.
every day. You get your team
Yeah,
on
so we're
8
getting
a.m.
the
and
buyers. We're getting the buyers pre-approved. We're doing the consult because we always did a consult for our clients anyway at the office. So now we're doing them virtually on Zoom, just like this.
yep.
And the people, a lot of it's really people are of good spirit. We've come across very few mean people. Most people have been very kind and good-hearted and good-spirited. So, it's an interesting time. It's
So is it being returned to you because you're going to them saying, "How can I help you right away?" Are you saying you're kind of getting it reciprocated and they're being patient, they're being understanding? Is that kind of what you're saying? It's the nice gel right now with everyone on both sides. Is that?
yeah, I think that they're grateful.
Hmm.
People are scared. They want to hear from somebody. They want people to call them.
Sure.
Yeah, I think. Do you know anybody? I'm sure you could put it. That's a stupid question. I'm sure you know people that are, above 65, 70 years old, and I have my mom, my mother, and her brothers and so forth, and just I think it's a bit more concerning to them right now, and I do think a phone call or, hey, what can I do to help you? I know we have Ryan's my brother. I don't know. Did we say that in the beginning? Ryan's my
Yeah,
brother, Marie.
but
So yeah.
I'm a little bit smart, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So last name Walsh, kind of look alike. Yeah. So but we also have a 95-year-old grandfather, fully cognizant. He didn't even. I mean, first of all, he kind of like initially didn't seem too concerned with it, and he was kind of like, "Ian, come on." And then I'm like, well, he is 95, so he's gonna know a few more things than me about how to survive. But I said, look, Grandpa, you got to stay indoors. Like, his age group is going to be absolutely that he cannot get this, right? He can't. So we reach out and make sure, hey, did you have food and so forth? Ryan dropped him off food to make sure that he had like, a couple weeks worth of food and stuff. But I think that population is really the elderly I say elderly, it's not 65 and up population is really the one that I think we need to look out for. To make sure that this isn't irresponsibly spread to them, because to them it is life threatening. To us, it's more just like, I don't want to get the virus.
Yeah, we know somebody that is in the hospital right now,
With it,
and he's 80,
Hmm.
and we knew somebody else that had the virus, so it's
and
definitely really scary. My grandfather, my great uncle, he's like my grandfather. He's my brother, my grandfather's brother. But my great uncle lives in Italy, in a small city called Piacenza, and it's about 45 minutes from Milan. And I said to my cousins, I said, "How's Pepe?" And because we're talking through Messenger all the time, and they said, I said, "How's he doing?" And they're like, we told him, and he started yelling at us in Italian, screaming at them that they're crazy. They have no idea what they're talking about, and this possibly couldn't be. So he's home in the house, and he's 101.
oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, he just turned 101 January 21st.
So
So
wait,
we were
101.
really
Did
lucky. I was just there. We took a big trip, and we left when did we leave? The 21st of December, and we came back on January 8th. We went to Munich, Salzburg, oh my God, Vienna,
You timed it
Budapest,
just right.
and Milan. And we
Oh,
got to
geez.
see him. We went to Milan just so we could go there to see him in Piacenza.
It's interesting. So if he's 101, which is insane, he also saw the Spanish flu.
He was born when it started. Spanish flu
He was born
1919.
when the original. I mean, that's what this is all modeled after, right? Like how
Yeah.
this works and what goes on and what he literally. He's got to be one of the few people on Earth that possibly could say that. Like, handful on Earth that could possibly say that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I have cousins in family in Florence, in Torino, in Calabria, and Piacenza. So,
Oh man, so they're really in it.
mhm.
What do they say? Have you spoken with them? Have
Yeah, and then
you
my other
since?
cousin, who's Italian, but he moved to London. He's from Calabria. Um, yeah, you know, they're at home.
Are any of them in the real estate over there? Like, do they have any insight of
No,
how the market's being impacted there?
they're not in real estate.
No, yeah.
What's the? I mean, so we hear on the news what the lockdown is over there, like what it's like and so forth, but I don't really know. Like, what do they report back? How accurate is what we see here versus what their feedback they're giving you there?
They're definitely staying home. I mean,
Not
they're
very Italian. That's not very
no,
Italian.
and
It's
at
harder for
first,
that culture than any other culture.
so that's what happened there because they didn't close all the restaurants at first. They were
Yeah.
saying you could still go till 6 p.m., but you have to sit 6 feet apart.
Mm.
So, but it's a sin. I mean, Italy is, I've been there 14 times. So
Oh well.
lucky. I've traveled a lot. That's one of my hobbies. So I'm so happy we went on that trip. So we got to see him and we had a really it was an amazing trip, an amazing, amazing trip, amazing time. Probably one of the best trips I've ever taken. So I'm grateful. I wake up
Yeah,
every
that's
day.
for sure.
I'm grateful that I have as much experience in the real estate business as I do, so I can lead my team. I'm grateful for all of the coaches that I work with, and their leadership. And I'm super grateful for my husband who is taking care of everything and letting me just work and making sure that everything else in the whole universe around me is operating. Um, and I'm grateful for my team stepping up. I mean, I know they're scared, um, but we're a really strong group and happen to be mainly all women and they kick ass. So I'm really fortunate. My operations manager just had a baby yesterday.
Congratulations. Yeah.
So she's on mat leave through all this. Could you imagine having a baby during this crisis? She's at the
I
hospital.
mean, thank God that it doesn't really, has very little effect on babies, but no, like that's got to
I mean,
add to
just the
stress
mental
level. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my
level
gosh.
of, oh my God.
Poor
Yeah,
woman,
so
yeah.
for her, for Kim.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Yeah, so
everything you just said about being grateful and everything seems to be a theme.
Mm-hmm.
Again, from everybody we've interviewed, that even in all this, you were just natural. Like, this is what you do as a strong leader. You understand the situation is not ideal, but you're still focusing on what you're grateful for. And I think that's just a mentality that needs to be captured here. And really, you're showing it. You're being an example for everybody of what you really need to be doing right now. You weren't focusing on anything negative on your team. And I just want to, commend you for that. And I think that's awesome that you're doing that and sharing that with everyone. That this is what you got to do. You're going to get through this. We're all going to get through it. Be grateful for what you have. Focus on that. And we'll get through this.
yeah, thank you. I was thinking this morning, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I bet you I can find, and I'm going to look for it later today. I can speak a little bit Italian, but I really want to learn the language.
There you go.
And so I'm like, I wonder if there's like an online Italian chat room or something like an online class that you could take just like this. Because in order for it to work, you have to speak it all the time or, have people to converse with. And I thought, well, this is a great time. I could do that. And I could take some other class I wanted to take. That non-real estate related,
Self-improvement. I mean, because
Yep.
I keep saying, when this thing ends in a short period of time, we're all going to look back and be like, man, I had 60 days to do whatever the hell I wanted. And I could have improved myself. And all I did was watch Netflix like that. Just don't do that to yourself because you will likely never, you'll never have another opportunity in your life to have this happen.
I had the TV on, last night I watched my show, This Is Us. It was on the night before, but I was so exhausted the night before that I fell asleep at 9:15. So I missed the show. But then after that, I shut off the TV. I don't want to be sucked into it. So I just keep it off.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to. I mean, right. We're so most, the idea is for most people to not work, right? That's what they want to do. So you always got to fight the urge to work or not work. But I just think that the regret people will have if they don't take this time to do things like learn a language or improve their business or whatever it may be, however you want to advance in it. It's just, it could be 60 days of you could have done anything. It was the biggest summer vacation you've ever had. Granted, you're at your house and it's, you're not partying with people, but like, take it for what it is and enjoy the isolation and make yourself a better person or your business stronger or help other people. It's just, it could be looked at as an opportunity, or you might as well look at it like that because we're in the situation. So take it that way. Right. So
I read something that this could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Right. Right. It depends. It's all perspective. So
I'm taking it as a positive thing. I mean, I'm upset by it like everybody else is, but not to the point where I won't take action. And
right.
I'm reading books. Are you guys reading any cool books?
Audiobooks. I'm an audiobook guy. If I read like 3 pages of a book, I fall asleep. So audiobooks.
What do you like on Audible?
Man, I should look at most of it actually has nothing to do with real estate. Most of it actually has to do with
aren't we overloaded on real estate? I mean,
yeah,
we probably know quite a bit about it. I've taken every training course, Mike Ferry, Bob Quattrone, a lot of coaching, a lot of training. I think I like to listen to other things. Self-improvement. I'm reading Brene Brown, Daring Greatly.
Okay.
I really love her book. And I'm reading The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Is that what it's called? Wait. What's it called? The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Okay, that's a good title.
This book, Ben Horowitz. Interesting book. And then this other book I'm reading. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's not here. I think it's called The Art of Tidying Up. And it tells you how to really like organize stuff, and you do it like all in one big clump of stuff. Instead of, it'll take like an hour.
Yeah.
You don't do it like that because you're supposed to do it and you put all the stuff say in your closet out. And then it tells you how to go through all the stuff and like what you're going to give away, what you're bagging up, what you're keeping. And interesting.
I mean, now's the time to do it. When else are you going to do it, right?
No, by the end of this, I mean, our house is going to be ready to go on the market.
Yeah, right. Do your own little in-house renovation.
It is. I said, we're selling this house when we're done here. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I want to anyway. We've been looking for a home. So we still want to buy 100%. In fact, we saw something we really like, so we can't wait to go see it.
Did you do the virtual tour on it yet?
Well, it's not my property and they didn't do a virtual tour.
Oh, man, they missed out on a buyer.
Yep. So we're going to figure it out, but it'll probably be still on the market when it lifts. So
I'd imagine.
I'm guessing. I don't think people are going to buy it sight unseen. Although anything's possible. The inventory is really low. I mean, yesterday, I think in all Philadelphia County, only 28 homes came on the market. But
it'll change. If this lockdown lasts, I know Trump thinks we're out of here by Easter. If it lasts for 45, 50 days, there will be inventory for sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's not that much inventory.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Yeah, that'll change if this lockdown actually lasts. If it doesn't, there will be no inventory. That is for sure. But yeah.
No, there'll be more people coming online, but we still had the lowest amount of inventory. So we have from 2006, where we had the highest amount of inventory. That's when we had the most, not in 08. It was in 06.
Right.
The market didn't crash. The financial market crashed in 08, but the real estate market in Philadelphia started crashing in 06. It's the height of the market was in 06. It took 2 years for it to happen nationally. And then it took 2 more years for the people locally. So 4 years for people to figure out that the prices had to come down for it to get sold.
I said, if you remember 2017, Maria, I don't know if it was crazy for you, but it was a wild spot in real estate. And I was like, man, this could be the top before people know it's the top. And I started to think to myself, like, something was really wild during this year. And I've been holding that in the back of my brain, thinking, was 2017, when we look back, will that have been the real top? Like, you have artificially inflated prices. And so I'm wondering if that were to, 2006 to 2008 was so 2-3 year window. I don't know if that correlates. It was just kind of a guess, but funny you said that.
I mean, I remember it was really busy. The last few years have been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But we literally, if you look at '06, at the height of, we had the most inventory, and today we have the least, and it's half the amount. Half.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
And interest rates are down since this started, so it's
it's because people can't, the prices went up so much they can't afford to buy, then move up house. There's multiple things. The investors came in, like Brickstone and Blackstone and all those guys, and they bought a ton of inventory for nothing, and that was the low entry level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And unless they dump it, it's not coming back. So it put pressure on the 250 and under market. So that's why there's no entry level homes to buy. Those properties, were all gobbled up for pennies on the dollar.
Back then. They made a fortune.
Yeah. And I think that's different now too in 2020 than in '08, is because I don't know when you got on Facebook, but I got on Facebook it was the end of '08.
Mm-hmm.
And so prior to that, the news didn't spread like it spreads now.
No, yeah, no way. It was like
you couldn't get information, right?
Not at the speed we're at now. Not at the speed we're at now. Not even close.
So now it's more like it's intensified. The world is intensified, and people put people over profit. I mean, profit over people, and it should be the other way around. That's what my experience has been.
That is true. So, well, Maria, I really like having you on. I liked having you on last time. I like having you on this time, and I'm glad to hear.
Do you know this was the day we're supposed to do it?
Yeah, I looked at my calendar. I go, oh, I was going to talk to Maria at 4:30 today.
Yeah, we were talking at 4 today.
Yeah. Well, so I was like, well, we've been doing it at noon, so it probably fits. But yeah, I totally didn't realize that.
This was great. Thanks for having me, guys. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And we're still overdue for that lunch and or drink. So when this is over, I'll be out every day going to restaurants and bars.
Sounds good to me, Maria. All right, you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Take care.